Well, I'm here in the Spalding house, and it does bring back many, many memories. I met Dexter when we were building a house here in Nashua, coming to Nashua, 1955. And needing furnishings for my house, I picked up the telephone book, and the yellow pages showed Dexter and Spalding and Munson. And I called and made an appointment because they had home furnishings and I needed help. And I met Dexter at this time. And in talking with him, I remember he said, "I'd like to have you meet my wife, Mary." And Mary called me and invited me to tea right in this very same house. And she was such a gracious hostess. Mary was beautiful, and Dexter was very debonair with his ascot tie, I remember. And we sat at the table and we had tea, afternoon tea. And this is what I remember of this very gracious couple who lived in this home. I believe his father was once mayor of Nashua, but I may be mistaken. Dexter would take me upstairs to his little studio. And this is where he had a lot of historic books around, I remember. And he was doing prints and framing, and there's one right here on the wall. And also did shadow boxes, and I believe the Historic Society has a few of those. Okay, they did my house, and I'm still happily living with the colors that he had chosen, and have some of the furniture that we selected together. Anyway, these are my memories of Nashua, and every time I go by this house, I think of Dexter and Mary, and we cannot forget them. I remember East Pearl Street and the Arts and Science Center. I know my children were growing up, and I was looking for something to do. So a friend of mine said, "The Arts and Science Center is on East Pearl Street. Why don't you go in and see what it's all about?" So one day I went there, knocked at the door, and there Margaret Swart came to the door, and I remember she had a broom. She had been working inside, or maybe a dust mop. But anyway, I said, "Can I help?" And so that's how it started. And I became a volunteer at the Arts and Science Center and met so many wonderful people. Archie Slosby and Attorney Clancy and Robert Hamblett and so many wonderful people who really started the arts in Nashua, I believe. I think it was Margaret Swart who had to do with the art shows at the park, and they're continuing still. Anyway, Margaret was really, she was president of the Arts and Science Center, and we also had volunteers, many good volunteers, and I remember forming a Boys and Girls Club, a teens club, and I think it was called the Muses, and I would take the children into Boston to the Science Museum and just trying to teach them a little bit. Not that I'm the teacher, but I was enjoying this as well and learning. But the time that I spent as a volunteer really was priceless. I learned so much. I learned about people and how to get along with people. And from there, I went into Boston, where I was an artist representative for many, many years. So you see, being a volunteer can really help people in their experiences. I was too busy with my children to go to the movies, I'm afraid, but I do remember that people did go to the movies in the downtown. And I really hope to see a movie theater, a small movie theater in the downtown, and possibly showing classic films. I would love this. And I have something in mind, but I won't go into that now. But this is very possible, and I think we really should have something of this sort in Nashua. It's important to the downtown. I mean, people would go to the movies and perhaps afterwards go into the restaurants, and love to see people walking the main streets. Oh, let me just add this. I would like to see year-round lights on the downtown trees. This was done for 2 or 3 years, and suddenly they were removed, and now we only have the holiday lights November, December, and January during the holiday season. I think it would add so much to see sparkling lights on the trees as they were at one time. And that's my hope and my dream, to have this happen again. I think that it would add a spirit to Nashua, unlike any other New England town. And people did remark on this, and I think that even for safety and a feeling that, hey, we care. The lights are on, they're sparkling, they're beautiful. This is Nashua. You know, I remember the circuses in town because we were very close to the fairgrounds. And when we first came to town, we were building a house, and it wasn't completed, and we lived in the old Goyette house on the second floor, I remember. And in the summertime, we would have the windows open, and we could hear the roar of the lions from the fairgrounds because we were very close to it. This I remember. And apparently, I've been told that the parades were wonderful. And there were elephants going down Main Street, and people were all dressed up to see these wonderful circus parades. Let's bring them back. But isn't Nashua wonderful? I enjoyed this. Nashua has been very good to us. I'm very happy and proud of what has been done in Nashua. Thank you.